Okay, we are back. I'm not finished with the politics. I want to get into hip hop, records, all that. Now, back to the politics. Why wouldn't somebody, we're going at the total lowest, which it never goes when you get indicted or get convicted, 36,500,000. Right? So, they making millions off you. They wouldn't lie on you? Now, first of all, the police wasn't at the scene of the crime. The DA wasn't at the scene of the crime. And all that. Now, if you ever seen the Central Park jogger case or any other case, you'll see the DA always preps the witnesses and the police. Prepping the witnesses and police is structuring their lie to fit another case or to fit the case that they want to convict you. You understand? That means they straight out lie. They actresses, they prepping actresses to lie. If you watch the Central Park jogger and you look at other cases, you can look at Larry Davis, you can look at you can look at a million cases with the Central Park jogger. And you'll see that they lied. The Gracie Greggs issue, all kind of issues for years. They lie. And the judge knows they lie, but he don't want to help you off the bench because he's not supposed to preach the law. But he always helps the DA. When you catch the DA in their lies, he wants to defend the DA. And don't want to admit certain evidence, don't want to do that. It's just when it's too blatant, they stop or they go with you. When it's too blatant, when it's just straight up 98% lies, and they do 80% lies. Now, don't ever look to the judge for help, because he's not going to help you. He works with the courts. So, a lot of people are going to say, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know this, I don't know that. But I'm going to lead you down the rabbit hole with this breadcrumb trail, like Hansel and Gretel or whatever. I'm going to lead you down the rabbit hole. You get, when you indict somebody, you get money off of your birth certificates. Anybody can look it up. I put it up before on the Gaza. I put up the papers. There's certain philosophers, lawyers, professors, they all know. All you have to do is ask them. Or you do your own research. Look at 55 Water Street, New York, 1002. It's a commission, an organization that deals with that. 55 Water Street, New York, New York. That's the first one. Then you can look up you can look up several ways, but let's go with 55 Water Street. That's the first breadcrumb. Then you could Google or look up, is the DA the fiduciary tax representative of that state? And then look up what the fiduciary tax representative means. You understand? So they're getting money from the feds and that commission for your birth certificate when they indict you. Then you can look up the Burn Foundation, the regular state, the feds, how much people is giving them money. Then you can look up Corecraft projected earnings and Bob Barker. That's why Bob Barker is one of the secret richest people in the world. Him and his family. I don't know if he's dead yet, but from New York to California, Bob Barker got it. And look at their earnings and how they get it. Then you can look up the state, then you can look up the feds, then you can look up anti-crime. Best thing I'll tell you, look at mass incarceration and use that by Michelle Alexander. I use that as a reference when you go in the back of it where the glossary and the directory, it'll lead you to more papers to go search and research and more books, and then it'll lead you to more papers to prove my facts. There's a million ways to find it out. It's just that they keep it hidden. So if you want to believe America's bullshit, you can go ahead. There's a couple books about America's lies. And they say, like TV, they best lying promotion. America didn't do nothing right. You can look up the history of the Alamo. They robbed the Mexicans and slaughtered them. You can look up the history of the blacks. You can look up the history of anything that go on in America. They changed the facts to their story, which is his story. He's not gonna make himself look bad in his story. He's gonna make himself look good. So that means he lied about his story. It's like European hegemony or European back ancestry. So, that's what's going on. Now, if you knew that Donald Trump and his cabinet had the antidote to the coronavirus months before it hit America, how could you trust America? If you knew America is the one who bombed the World Trade Center and they used that poor man to kill him as an excuse because they knew immigrants was in America sending American money home. So they used that. And then they used the Red Cross and they used this and talk about no matter what color you are, Americans give back money and help for the WTC. A lot of people don't know. Only most architects. A lot of old buildings in Manhattan has low-lying radar next to the red lights that beep off the building. Because through the years, a lot of planes in the early ages when planes first came out crashed into the Empire State Building. So during World War II, they made the low-lying radar. So this wouldn't happen and they could alert them. Especially if they go flying through a foggy thing or clouds or whatever. So the WTC was a hoax. Now, if you look how they treat the Japanese, they used to lock the Japanese in the Lower East Side as a holding camp. Inside their houses, projects. Then, If you look up the war on drugs by Reagan, people before Reagan, the war on drugs was after the ethnics. Because they said once a white woman is on drugs, she's very susceptible to any black man. Or if a white woman on dope, they become slaves of the Chinese. You can look up Victor Licata, 1933, Florida. They used him as the paper boy. In Marijuana Madness, the book, you can look up the Harrison Act, it will bring you to it too. The drug laws is a fraudulent law because you lied to Congress to invite the drug law. You said Victor Licata killed his family off of marijuana. But when Victor Licata was taken to the hospital, he had no drugs in his system. He just had a psychological problems of how he was abused, and he killed his family. Had nothing to do with drugs. The congressman and the governor from Texas said, because it was the time of the Great Depression, that the Mexicans is coming over here with a better marijuana, selling it, getting houses, pack up in their houses, and going to the jobs before any white entitled person and work for less. So it made more white entitled homeless and was on the soup kitchen lines. And they didn't like that. Then they see a lot of people hooked on dope, which they use in their prescription drugs and coke with mad different cut to get you sick. So you can look up Victor Licata, the Harrison Act, and the LaGuardia Papers around the time of 1930 to 1933. That's going to show you that the war on drugs is a prejudiced motion against ethnics. Read it very well, because you're going to see that Victor Licata was never on drugs, and that's what they produced to Congress as the #1 symbol to make drugs illegal, because drugs been legal for hundreds of years. They used to sell drugs in Sears catalog. They used to sell drugs everywhere. Put drugs in Coca-Cola, put drugs in everything. But that's why it's called the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, because everything is really a drug. Sex is a drug, food is a drug. Any habit that you repeat is a drug. Cigarettes is a drug, which is the worst killer. Kills you slowly to a degrading death. Alcohol is the worst killer. Anything that America can't control is a threat to America or illegal, especially when they ain't making money. So ethnics is a threat to America, which they've been using for years to build America, and drugs, alcohol, because America didn't have the good alcohol. Canada did. And that's when Prohibition came on. So, we go back. Do you believe America? If America tried to kill its own people many times, do you believe it? They try to kill ethnics. Do you believe it? If you think this, do you believe it? You know Donald Trump had the antidote for the coronavirus, or could have prevented from coming here before it happened. Because they throw you a little bone every 6 months of a stimulus check or unemployment, so you won't argue and shut you up? No. That's where the saying, give the dog a bone when he start barking. That's what they think of you. You're a dog. So, put all these facts together, the coronavirus, the WTC, the World War II, all kind of stuff. War on drugs. You should have seen what Ronald Reagan had back in the days as a poster. The war on drugs, a black man raping a white woman. Come on. Where'd that come from? A black man. And then now you see all black people and Spanish people working, doing the stormtrooper jobs and working for the government, which they were supposed to get the jobs to change the government, but they worship the almighty enslavement dollar. Look up Daily News, Detective Baptiste, 2011, June something. He's a Haitian detective that dropped down that the roll call was saying, shoot these niggas. 2011, Daily News, you can check it. Then you can check out Daily News about when the cops said it's not their fault that they give phony tickets or write phony violations, is management. Gotta be your fault. What's up? What's up? I shot you out the other day when you was driving now. You didn't see me waving and going like this?
No,
I just came out of jail that day. Yeah, but I'm almost there because she just put another, oops, hold on. Jesus, we pause it.